You are listening to Arts on the Air, a bi-weekly-ish interview show dedicated to Savannah, Georgia's artists, musicians, and authors. Each episode will feature a guest in conversation about their philosophy, practice, and current projects, as well as their thoughts on the state of the arts in our community. Our theme music is a clip by Jose Ray, made specifically for our show. This week I had the pleasure of sitting down with local artist Christopher Moss. Chris Moss is originally from Pennsylvania and holds a BFA from Marywood University and MFA from Brooklyn College. Hot off the heels of a solo show Yoink at the Thompson Savannah, and a dual show in Athens, Georgia, and a trifecta exhibition at High Point in North Carolina, and a group show in New York City, all of which closed within the last couple weeks, Chris isn't done. He decided to throw himself into the second annual artist studio crawl and accompanying group exhibition at Ology Gallery in Thunderbolt titled Eastside 11. Eastside 11, Artists of the Victory Heights, Avondale neighborhoods, opens this Saturday, Valentine's Day, February 14th, and runs through Saturday, March 21st. There's an opening reception at Ology this Saturday, Valentine's Day, February 14th, from 5:30 to 8 p.m. The studio crawl is the following Saturday, February 21st, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'll list the participating artists, the gallery page, and the art crawl page in the show notes, so you can dig through a little further and ensure that you don't miss your favorite. And I'll try to put a map up on the social media sites as we get a little bit closer, so you know where you're going. If you just have to miss both initial events, there's also a closing reception at Ology. That's on Saturday, March 21st, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
I'm Chris Moss. What do I say about myself? I'm an artist. I've lived in Savannah since the very end of 2016. And that's all I have to say for myself at the moment.
You've been super busy. You seem to consistently stay busy, but Yoink was the solo show at the Thompson Hotel, and that was in the fall. Yeah. So that launched for the Impact magazine with Arts Southeast in the fall, so I did get to see that, but that one just closed in December, right?
Yeah, we just took that down a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Very cool. And then you had the High Point exhibition with Kelly Beamer. Yeah. That one just closed too, right?
Yeah, that also closed in December. I had a lot of things sort of building on top of things. I also had a two-person show in Athens earlier this summer, and in conjunction or at the same time as the Thompson show, I had a show in New York.
That one just closed.
It was basically a solo show, and that closed at the end of January. And I feel like that's only 4 things, and I feel like there was a large 5th thing that I might be forgetting. But anyway, I've been working to being this busy. And then once I got there, I was like, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, actually.
Well, and you're not stopping either, because we're just going to slide straight into Eastside 11, huh?
Which is what slid me into last year, because the Thompson came directly out of that experience. The Olivia, who is the manager at the Thompson, who's sort of the point person for all the exhibitions on the Thompson side, found my studio and asked me for the first time her asking. She usually does it with a gallery, but she asked me if I would do the show at the Thompson. And then we later had to bring Art Southeast in to help me out, because they're extremely useful. So
they're very cool people.
Yeah, and I needed help lifting things. Basically, I had some large paintings in that show that couldn't get 15 feet in the air without the use of a couple of ladders. So
need some friends with some supplies.
Yeah.
Very cool. So this is the second year for the art crawl. Are you the initiator of the initial art crawl?
I suppose I'm the person who pushed the boulder up over the edge of the top of the hill 3-ish years ago. Will Penny and oh my goodness, Betsy Kane and I were in the back room of a gallery talking about how we all had studios in the same neighborhood. And I said, I bet there's other people with studios in the neighborhood. And Betsy, being who she is, started listing people. And Will said, yeah, and this person, and this person. And that, Matt Toole is right there over at the dairy, which is basically the same neighborhood. So yeah, that rolled into me going home with the idea and then emailing them a couple months later and saying, let's actually do this. Let's make it a thing. I chose a point in the calendar before. I feel like St. Patrick's Day is Savannah's summer kickoff. Like when it's really spring, when it's St. Pat's Day, you know, like everybody's out of the house. It's no longer winter. There's events happening. So I thought there was room in the calendar where people weren't busy right before that. So that was sort of the idea, is to do it right before St. Pat's so that it fills kind of a little bit of a social void.
Yeah, we're a little bit quieter.
Yeah. There's not as many. There aren't. The rest of the year, all from spring all the way through fall, seems like there are events on top of events, and you can't go to everything. And I wanted to. This seemed like an ideal time where you could actually go to everything.
Now, how many people participated last year?
There were six artists.
All right, so 6 to 11.
We bumped it up to 11. We had an amazing turnout last year.
Hundreds of people, right?
Better than we didn't do a count. I mean, my estimate is 200 people, but I don't have a clicker or anything. But that's what it felt like, at least. And it was busy from, not exactly at 11. It started off a little bit slow, but from noon to right through the end of it at 5:30 or 6. It was crazy. So when I moved to Savannah, I realized that I didn't know where all of the art scene was, and it's hard to find if you're not here for a while, because it's in little pockets all over the place, and a lot of those little pockets are like temporary gallery spaces that open, and then they're open for a year or two, and then somebody moves away, and that thing closes. So I saw that there was kind of a need for more things that become like a institution, basically. There's more room for institutions here. So that's one of the reasons why I want to keep doing the art crawl and keep expanding it to get larger and larger, but not so large that it becomes unwieldy to manage, or, so I'm kind of doing it small. What I'm really, really, really hoping is that other artists in other neighborhoods might pick up the idea and do their own, or do it in conjunction with this. Or I know there are other neighborhoods where a pocket of artists live and know one another and have studios, even if the studio, we've got some people in this who they have outside of the house studios, but they also have their kitchen table where they make half their work. So that's, I have a studio in my backyard. I also have my living room table where I make half the things that I make. Mostly because it's too hot in the summertime to be out in the studio, but yeah.
Now, is anybody going through houses or just studios? Is anybody brave enough to be like, this is my living room studio, come check out my bathroom?
Yeah. I think, I'm not going to name names because I don't know.
Fair. Don't.
Because I don't know who.
Yes, it's good enough.
But I'm pretty sure that you're going to be popping into some people's living rooms, living spaces. That's just how artists are. So I guess it's brave in a sense, but I also feel like in another sense it's just the truth. So.
Oh, it's so fun. It's such a nice idea. And doing it in a down season makes it so it's mostly a locals event.
Yeah.
Everybody to some extent is going to know somebody. Everybody's connected. So that's very safe. It's a very tight-knit community. Versus, maybe if there were more tourist season, it's more of an unknown, but this is just so cool. What a great idea.
Yeah. Speaking of tourists, my partner Corey's aunt, who they regularly winter on St. Simon's, and there's a little artist group that winters down there, and they go to art classes together and whatnot. And she was talking up the event. We actually had people come all the way up from there to see the event. So I thought, that was really, really sweet. So not exactly your summertime tourists, but yeah.
The people that want to be there will make it.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And there's a show in conjunction with this at Ology. You've got 2 dates. You've got an opening reception and a closing reception, and it's 6 whole weeks.
So we've got a 6-week show at Ology opening on Valentine's Day. So it's a great time to bring a date and show them how sophisticated you are. And or not, depending on the artist. Anyway, I won't belabor that point. And then the following week, the 21st, is going to be the art crawl, and then there's probably at least one more event connected to the Ology space event. I think we might be. I don't want to say that actually. I'm not positive.
I think she's got a closing reception posted.
Okay.
I think what's posted is an opening on Saturday, February 14th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Then the art crawl, where you're so graciously letting us all into your homes, on Saturday, February 21st from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yep.
Perfect. And then the closing should be March 21st. That's a Saturday. From 5:30 to 7:30.
Sounds good.
How did you all pick what goes in the studio and what goes in the show? Or is that a co-curation thing with Lisa D. Watson and the owners of Ology and you?
Yeah, Wendy, the owner and gallerist at Ology, and she chose to co-curate with Lisa's help, knowing that going to 11 artist studios in less than a month was an enormous task for any curator. So she and Lisa basically did studio visits and chose all of the work for the exhibition. I've heard there are themes in the exhibition, some like color themes, and some other ideas sort of pop up. I don't know exactly what they're going to be, so it's going to be interesting to see. I don't really know what's in it. I haven't seen it, so
that's so fun.
It's going to be really fun to see what it looks like.
So it was pre-existing work that was all picked out. It was not created specifically for this show? Not,
mine wasn't, because I haven't had time to really get back in the studio from all of the work that I've been doing. So I do have one new painting in the show. So one lingering new thing that was kind of sat in the studio off to the side, wasn't really part of the studio visit. And of course, Lisa was like, I want that. So note to the artists out there, if you don't want something in a show, do not have it anywhere. Hide it. But it's not a big deal. I finished the painting in time, and I'm really grateful to have at least one brand new work, and then some work you may or may not have seen before.
That's very cool. Very, very cool. Okay. You don't see a theme. I'm so excited to see how everything comes together. I don't even see a working title aside from the 11 of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the 11 artists of the Avondale Victory Heights art crawl is kind of the overall theme, I guess.
Just being awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're all pretty awesome.
Just being awesome. The
list is amazing. I mean, how did you come up with all 11? Who picked the 11? Wendy and Lisa?
So it was actually the idea of everybody that participated last year we had such a nice time planning the event, and so we decided to continue getting together about once a month. So we did that all through the summer, and that gave us time to talk about who is in the neighborhood and who else we had in mind. And I'd say that we all chose who else was going to participate in the event.
Little collective going on, little group chat, text action.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right, how many pieces do you have in the show? The one that Lisa snatched that was not completed?
About 5, I think.
Wow. Yeah. All right, so big.
So it's gonna be. My work doesn't tend to be very, very large, but my advantage is that all of the work that almost all the work except for the painting can be put on a pedestal, so I don't need the wall space. It's a handy thing to keep in mind that I didn't realize until recently as a person who normally only makes paintings, is that if you can figure out a way to make a not painting, or to make a 3-dimensional object that still is your work, you can probably sneak that into more shows than you think, simply because you don't need the wall space.
That is the truest thing that's ever been said. As a past gallerist myself, you fight for the wall space, but every gallery has 8 million pedestals. They've always been inherited. There's always a nick in the paint somewhere. You will never keep them perfect, and none of them are ever filled with anything reasonable. You're always looking for something to put on. You've got 1 or 2 things that are amazing and have to be on the pedestals, but then the rest is books or like comic cards, or like you're always looking for something. So
the guest book right by the door. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Great advice to put your stuff on pedestals instead.
Yeah.
How do you make the smiley faces? Are those what's going on the pedestals?
Those are back in the studio now. So they are not. They so it's a long-ish story, but I'd started working with a lot of the oddball. If you go to the acrylic section in contemporary or modern art supply store, there's a lot of weird stuff in there that's not paint. There's a lot of mediums with sand and stuff in them. There's modeling paste, which is a kind of sticky, gunky thing. There's this thing called light modeling paste. There's crackle paste. There's all kinds of like finish or different grounds, different finishes, all sorts of weird stuff. And I, at first, was wondering who in their right mind uses all this stuff. It seemed a little like geared toward a hobbyist rather than a serious artist. And that immediately started playing in my head because I like to undermine that whole seriousness aspect of the art thing. So I started with some light modeling paste and a mounted panel on wood. And rather than stick with the square, I started filling in the sides so that it became sort of pillow shaped, roundish shaped. And then when I got to a satisfying shape for that, I painted it and sanded it and painted it and sanded it. And I'd done it so many times and I couldn't quite get it to be the thing that I saw in my head, the thing that I wanted it to be. And then I decided to take that same light modeling paste and mix it up with some color, some paint. And I used a like a foam roller to apply the paint to it. And the foam roller made the paint all pucker, and because the light modeling paste will hold peaks, it's kind of like a meringue or something like that.
Cool.
And so it gave it this sort of 90s ceiling finish type thing. Yeah. So that was the first one, and I didn't know it was going to get finished like that, but it suddenly, I finished it and I went, oh, cool, and sent it off to a friend who immediately sold it. And the person who bought it commissioned a second one for another one of their clients. It was this interior designer out in LA. And that's when I made the second one, when I decided that I needed to make a lot more. So I started making them out of more of that modeling paste stuff. It started getting expensive quickly because each of them was about a gallon of modeling paste.
Whoa.
That stuff is about $90 a gallon these days.
Whoa.
So as far as art supplies, as far as that goes, it was racking up. I went through 6 or 8 gallons of the modeling paste stuff before I figured out that I could actually use newspaper that was and magazines and stuff like that were coming through the house, and I was shredding those and putting them in water and making a kind of clay, paper clay out of that and wood glue. So the last 10 of them probably were 10 or 15, I don't remember, but a lot of them were made out of finished, mostly filled out with the wood glue material because it was necessary.
Cost effective, and probably better for the planet, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, considering that, considering the origins of acrylic paint that are directly related to the petrol industry, basically. It's a leftover petrochemical that they figured out a new use for, so at least it's not being wasted. Like, it'd be made anyway, just from turning oil into gasoline, but it's still it's a weird thing. It's got a strange history that's directly connected to like all the science that went into like that followed World War II.
I have never heard this in my entire life. I have like more than one art degree. What?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Acrylic paint happened because we got a bunch of scientists, our best scientists, together to make the atomic bomb, and then afterward they all started companies and they all needed something to do, and there was this scientific boom in the US that, like, what do we do with all this stuff? Let's look at polymers and what is all this? Yeah, it's a weird.
I don't have a response. I will have to do some serious Googling. What a cool thing you've just said to me. All right, I just derailed entirely. I had, whew.
Yeah, it's a weird one that's not, I mean, the history isn't like written there, but if you look at the history of all the paint companies and you start going back, you look at like Golden Paint and some of the other, Golden was kind of there at the beginning-ish in figuring out that they invented this stuff that they had 50-gallon barrels that they used to give to artists called Roplex, which is basically just acrylic medium. And you would then, you'd have your pigment and the Roplex stuff and you mix it all up, and that's the first version of acrylic paint. From what I understand, that stuff was actually like more like an oil paint. And then they made it, it was on its way to becoming water soluble, but it wasn't. The original formulation of this Roplex stuff wasn't, from what I understand. I don't know. They don't make it anymore. I don't think it's very good for you.
Very cool. So if anyone listening, if I'm the dummy that didn't know this and everybody else knows this, don't write to me and tell me I'm stupid. That is so cool. All right, Chris. So you like to experiment. I mean, clearly that was just born out of a product you saw on a shelf. What's your earliest memory of creating art? Have you always been that way?
I guess so, yeah. The story, I guess, that I tell was that the first creative outlet I was given was the piano, and that took way too much work to get to a level where it didn't sound like garbage, and I wasn't willing to put in that much work. So the second creative outlet I was sort of given in a like go take lessons kind of a way was drawing and painting lessons. And it was not far into those drawing and painting lessons where it was kind of obvious that there was some knack for what I was doing, that I was, things that were really obvious to me about how to make a painting were, it turns out, advanced level things that people were wowed by. So, and then, you get that initial bump of, woo, this is terrific. And then you spend approximately 15 years making garbage before it gets good again.
It is a cycle, huh?
Yeah.
So how old were you when you're like, yay, this is the best, and like it got stuck to you forever, like I'm an artist?
Those initial lessons were probably 7th grade, 6th grade.
Okay.
Something like that. And then, so so I did that in grade school, and then I went to high school in a different school in a different town, and it wasn't convenient to take the same lessons at the same place. So I was kind of waiting around in high school to the point where you get to take your art class in high school. And then that was good. I had an art teacher who knew who the artists were in the group, and she would give me the fun stuff to play with that like the other students who were just taking an extra study hall didn't get to play with. But there wasn't instruction in the way that would have prepared me for college in any kind of way. So the first chance that I got to go to a college and study art, I think I was a junior in high school, and there was a summer class program where you could take real art lessons. It was the first like nude figure model class I'd ever taken.
They let a teenager in a nude figure model class?
Right? Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. At a Catholic university, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I went to Marywood University for undergrad, and I had a couple of schools in mind to go to, and I guess I'm glad that I chose Marywood. It's in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I grew up in Wilkes-Barre. It's not that far from home, but it's far enough from home that like I don't have to live with my parents. So it was, it was away, but it wasn't like far away. I have a feeling if I'd gone very far away, I probably definitely would have failed out of like my first semester of school.
Too many changes. That's how a lot of people are.
Yeah, it just, I thought that, I always think that I'm super mature, and then you get into a situation where you're like, no, I guess I'm not. Not as mature as I thought I was.
What's your master's in?
The regular one. MFA. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the regular one. The one everybody I know.
Well, where did you go?
So
I don't remember. I read it, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry.
BFA was Marywood University. And then I played around a little bit, not wanting to go directly to grad school. I was basically sort of just waiting tables for a couple of years and trying to figure out what I was going to do. In the meantime, friends of mine moved to Brooklyn. I followed them there in 2003, and I knew grad school was going to be easy to go to grad school in New York. There are New York State and New York City both have excellent colleges and universities. So I knew no matter what that I could do it, and I could do it rather cheaply. So I ended up getting into Brooklyn College, and that was one of those life-changing experiences that you didn't know you signed up for. And I think overall it was good because it shook me out of being a student, which I was really good at being a student. Like, I'm a good mimic. Like, most artists start off, you're like, yeah, I can mimic this thing, I can mimic this other person's style, whatever. But grad school the challenge was basically like, yeah, but who are you? Like, where's your work? And that was painful, but I'm glad that it happened the way that it did.
How long were you in Brooklyn after school? Because you got here 2016?
Yeah, so I lived in Brooklyn from 2003 till 2016.
Very cool.
We moved at like the very end of the year, like late December.
Oh, so 2017.
So it's basically 2017. Yeah, it was like the end. I mean, like the period on the end of that year.
So what's your set schedule to work? Do you like make yourself sit down if you learned how to like be an adult in your master's?
I mean, I'd always been disciplined enough to make like a making art schedule for myself, especially after grad school. I got a job working at a gallery, but I was also like painting every minute that I wasn't at that job. So it's I mean, I guess it's sort of learned to do that schedule thing, but when I need to or when I want to make things, it's never been a problem to push everything else out of the way and make room for making stuff.
What's your favorite color?
I do not have a favorite color. No.
No one's ever said that to me before.
I don't have a favorite color. Let's see. Right now I'm into some colors that are new to me. I just got dioxazine purple, so I, for years and years and years, like for 15 years, I've been using a primary triad to make almost all my paintings. So most of my paint was derived from a yellow, a blue, and a magenta. Because you can get almost all the colors from that, except for decent purples. So I added a couple of colors to the palette recently, and one of those colors was dioxazine purple, which is this like really deep, almost black color all by itself, but it also mixes with blues really well to give a really good range of purples.
Cool.
So maybe that's my favorite, but it won't be my favorite forever.
Until you find the next.
Until I find something else to be interested in. Yeah.
Very cool. Does living in Savannah influence your work at all? It
hasn't changed since I've been here yet. Although, yeah, I'm not sure how. I feel like it's going to creep in really, really slowly, and I'll turn around and be like, oh, those are the Savannah paintings. Like, I definitely have like mounted panels and things like that I brought with me. when we moved here, we moved with the intention of buying a house because we knew that we couldn't afford anything in New York. We were like years behind being able to afford something in New York. But elsewhere in the country, and especially Savannah, at the time was affordable. So got a house, made sure that it was offset on the property enough that a largish building could also be built on the property. So I spent 3 years after we purchased the house, I spent 3 years, 2.5 years, obsessing over how to build a studio and then actually doing all of the work to build a studio. My dad helped me quite a lot, and then I did like all the finish work by myself. And then immediately, like right at the end of doing all of that work, we had this pandemic. So I hadn't spent much time since I'd moved here sort of meeting people in the art scene. But it was during the pandemic where I decided that, you know what, I haven't made any new friends since I moved here, and I really, really, really need to. I felt, starved of art friends. And I'd been to Art Southeast a couple times when they were Sulphur. I'd sort of met John and Emily, and it's been, that was where I started, basically. So I started hanging out there and going to their openings more and more often, and I guess getting used to the idea that like that was they're my local nonprofit, and from there just meeting more and more local artists. Yeah.
It's always nice to have a village.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's necessary. I feel like, you do this thing alone in your studio all day long, but it's not going to make any sense if it's not within the context and the conversation of all of the people around you. You need I didn't think that I did, but it turns out you need all of those voices.
Well, and you'd go stir crazy if you're just sticking like yourself in a shed.
Yeah. I mean, I used to think that was the ultimate idea. Like when I lived in New York, I was like, oh, if I could just move somewhere and like live in a barn for 10 years, I would come out a genius. And the thing is, like, no, you probably won't. You'll come out making the same thing you went in making because there's no outside stimulus.
Yeah, with no like influence and no one teaching you about different shades of purple and how acrylic paint is made.
Yeah.
You don't learn anything. You can't grow.
Yeah.
You got any other fun tricks up your sleeve that you've learned recently?
No.
the two were enough. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I probably do if I keep battling, but I don't. I can't think of any.
The pedestal's high. Like you just blew my mind twice, so it's great. Recent inspiration. You had anything like strike you or like change what you're working on or like?
I recently, let's see, what have I done? I used to not really care all that much about titles. So I took that sort of minimalist approach where everything is untitled.
Untitled 1.
Untitled 2. Untitled. That is a bookkeeping nightmare.
I had an artist that would make me title her things.
Ugh.
And she'd send me, I love her. It is not like, she's delightful, but like I'd get a string of texts and it would be like all beach themed. She's a cutie pie. And like keeping track of 100 titles over years and like who owns what for all the same like 7 words. Awful. No untitled 27 and no.
Yeah. Right. So to avoid that, I started several years ago actually looking for lists of things. One of the first lists I used was back during the Obama administration. The CIA put out a list of words that they were tracking online. It was kind of like a surveillance-y, censorship-y weird thing. It was a list of extremely common words mixed in with a lot of sort of late war on terror type words and that sort of thing. I remember using that list for titles. I make my own list too these days. I made a list of amateur botanist names for strains of marijuana. This is like pre-legalization, so like 2010, because the names are so colorful and interesting, and and at the time I was working, because I work in long series. I was working on a series of 80 paintings, and they were also sort of small and colorful and kind of seemed like they might be high. So I used I don't remember some of the names, but like raspberry kush, and all of the sort of, they have fruit names, but the fruit names are also could have color associations, and
very cool.
So lists, and then notes app. I just keep lists of, like, if I'm sort of going down an internet rabbit hole, I'm also writing down interesting concepts or not interesting concepts or dumb things that I see on the internet. A lot of advertising jargon sort of makes it onto that list, and then I will maybe rearrange that jargon to say something sort of funny or sarcastic, or
So are you like matching titles in your notes app to a painting once it's done, or are you using a title in your notes app to kind of dictate where a painting in progress is going?
I'm usually finishing a group, like they're part of a body of work or most of it, like the work that I made for the Thompson, the rocks. I finished those, and then I went to Notes app and pulled out the most appropriate titles for each of those.
All right, so you just like matched what fit.
So but at the same time, I'm working on those things and making the list. So there's a lot of back and forth and crossover. But yeah, it's mostly afterward. It's the same thing as saying untitled, but it's easier to keep track of. So.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, some of the titles. So a lot of the titles are like 2 or 3 words. Some of them are 5 words at most, and then some of them. I titled one painting recently that's the entire lyrics of a song. It's only written on the back of the painting. It has like a nickname, but
perfect. You just gotta.
Some of them just end up being really long, funny sentences.
Love it. People love that too. Collectors love stuff like that.
Yeah.
I worked at the gal in Charleston that would paint and then have a poem, and like a lot of the paintings had accompanying poems that went with them. So you'd put them in the back or like print out a sheet and give it to the owner, and people love that.
That's really sweet.
Mm-hmm. So when you have these long titles, just that sheet of paper that's the full set, and then you hand it over.
I usually try to write it in the back somewhere, or I want to come back to this concept, but I have made work before where the back of it has its own diorama too. So it's a double-sided work. Unfortunately, I think it was, now that I'm a little bit more mature, speaking of aging into being more mature, I wish I told people that those dioramas were on the... I had an exhibition where the whole thing was there, and I didn't tell a single person, because I was like, well, it'll be a great surprise if anybody buys it. That was the selling point, you dummy.
Yeah, you cost yourself a lot of money with that stunt. Come on, man. People love stuff.
The gallerists knew about it. Like there wasn't like nobody knew about it.
Okay, so they just.
But I just wasn't like being super forward about it.
Yeah, the lady that like runs the bookkeeping went around behind you as a sales pitch and told everybody.
Yeah.
Because think about how cool that is and how special you feel if you can like lift the painting up off of the wall and take a peek.
There's another, there's a whole other artwork on the back of them, and I mean, so that was a smallish series of 16 paintings, and I still have all 16 paintings. So there might be an opportunity for somebody someday to own that whole set.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So you didn't sell any of them, or you have 16 left?
So yeah, I was. It's a weird like intentions meeting the real world thing. I intended to make a large series of I don't know 100 or 150 paintings, so I had somebody build me that many boxes, and then that just sort of started getting derailed almost immediately. So they ended up being lots of different separate series, but they're small enough. They're like 12 by 12 or 10 by 10 or something like that. So they're small enough that if you hang them all on the wall together, close enough together, they feel like they read as one piece.
Cool. Gotta bring those back. That's
Yeah.
super cool. Very nice. All right. Are there any day jobs you've had that contribute to your work, like your approach or the execution? And I use this example all the time because I think it's amazing. It turns out that Snoop Dogg is an expert sushi roller.
That's awesome.
Transferable skills, friends.
Yeah, really blunt rolling, sushi.
Yeah. So, like, do you have anything? I mean, it doesn't need to be scandalous, right? I just love that one. Do you have like something that you did as a kid, or like a job in college, or like something you like a day job? Is your
not as cool as Snoop's story. I mean, I feel like the what I've been doing recently is a lot of graphic design for the past couple of years, just sort of freelance design work for different people. That's got obvious art crossover, but it's basically almost the same set of skills. No, I don't. Otherwise, don't have a good answer for that.
Okay. You've had so many shows over the past year. Has somebody said something to you, like, had they have a reaction to your artwork that was super memorable, or like something that sticks with you?
I'm thinking of one reaction that I probably can't actually say. So.
Why?
Because it's gross and.
This is a radio show. It's not on. I mean, it's a podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, it used to be a public radio show.
So we're not doing it on public radio.
It's not on WRUU anymore. It goes straight to like Spotify.
Oh, okay. Like
Apple Podcasts. You can curse.
So I had somebody over in the studio recently. And we were talking about the paintings, and there's this painting that's in the studio now that's this large head in a boat. It's just a head with like tiny little arms and paddles, and it's got this expression of like utter terror, and it's starting to fall apart, so it's like cracked a little bit. And I was trying to make the scene around it really dramatic. So there's a bright white moon in the background, like sort of you can see the moon through the crack, and they joked that it looked like cum. I had never thought of that, but I was like, yeah, that's an interesting.
Gotta make some adjustments before you try to sell that one, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna leave it the way that it is, but that's a really weird comment.
So you like learn
but
things
there was
about your friends.
But what we were talking about was also like the way that meaning is mutable, and that like I try to keep things open enough that there's room for the viewer to come in and, establish themselves and in the painting, and, so they felt comfortable enough to do that, I guess.
Learning things about your friends.
Yeah.
All right, you've been here 9 years. How has Savannah's arts community changed? You see anything like bright and glaring? Do you have any advice? Where do you think it's going?
It's only getting better.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the longer I'm staying here, the longer I'm here, the sort of more that I'm realizing that there were, there's a couple of institutions in Savannah that are just becoming more and more important and trying to serve as many local artists as possible. And I think that's like the base for an exciting and interesting or viable, I guess, arts community. Honestly, the more work, the more different things Art Southeast takes on for themselves, every single one of their projects makes Savannah, the art scene here, better. I mean, from bringing artists in for residencies from out of town, sort of gets that conversation, cross-pollination thing happening, to projects that I know they've got planned for the future that are going to also be really cool.
They're working on a lot.
They're working on a lot,
They're working
and
on a lot.
there's going to be some really, really, really cool things that I'm super excited to see happen here. So,
What's your favorite part?
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about most about their future projects, because what if they don't happen?
I can cut it. I'm also on their board.
Okay. Oh, all right. So my two favorite things are they took two studios in the back and they're tearing down the wall between them, and they were donated a bunch of printing presses.
One of them was from Beatty.
Who's that?
Beatty passed away this summer, and he was an artist that had been in town for what an impressive resume. He was just an A+ guy. So I think they had other materials that were already in the works.
Yeah.
But he passed away maybe June or July.
Oh, geez.
So
okay.
Well, so I think his addition and his will kind of cemented that. That seems to be opening pretty soon. I think that's any day now.
Yeah.
They seem super excited. I've not seen it.
Yeah. I'm excited because I haven't been forcefully looking for it, but when I was at Brooklyn College, the printmaker there was this really cool dude, whose name just went right out my head. I was about to say it and it just went, nope. But anyway, I kind of made friends with him, I guess mostly because we would both sneak up. The studios there are on the 5th and 6th floor of the building, which is the top floor of the buildings that they were in. But you could sneak up upstairs out onto the roof to go smoke a cigarette instead of going all the way downstairs. So that's sort of Arnold, that was his name. We became friends my first semester, and then I asked him if I could keep the printmaking studio open. So I invented a work study for myself to keep the printmaking studio open 10 more hours a week.
Cool.
And they have these litho beds there, and I was playing around with doing monoprinting on litho beds, where basically the bed is usually a sheet of plexiglass, and then you put the blankets and then the plexiglass and then another sheet of plexi and then the blankets. This is with the steel sheets, not with the stones. But I was doing all these monoprints, basically painting right on the plexiglass and then running paper through the press. So I'm excited to see if I can pick up where I left off.
Very
with
cool.
that, or start again, because I was just starting to get into all the different ways that you could use it, and four color monoprints, which I don't really see very many. So there's these, you can play with off registration and stuff like that. It's just fun.
I can't wait to see it. And so you are required to, come back and show us that next series once you pick it back up.
I hope so. I was just looking at the ones that I was doing in grad school, because I've been opening up old boxes for the art crawl, just because there's years of work that nobody in Savannah has ever seen of mine. So I thought it would be kind of cute to bring out some of the older stuff that's hidden away. So
that'll be so much fun. And you've been everywhere for all of 2025. So showing so many things, so many places. I mean, it'll be nice to sneak some of the old work in as new work. Maybe it'll give you time to catch a breath, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be good. Yeah.
Are you ready to have all these people in your house, in your studio?
Yeah, in the studio, not in the house. I'm not cleaning the house too.
No. That's too much work.
But I will straighten up the studio. I have every year, a significant portion of my studio is taken up by a dragon fruit tree plant thing, because it wouldn't survive outside in the freezing cold. But I'm pretty sure our last frost is done, so I think it can at least go outside for the event.
Love it.
So looking forward to kicking that outside, sweeping, trying not to do too much arrangement. One of the things that I heard people were a little bit. I cleaned up too much last year, apparently.
You took too much art away?
I mean, I made it look like a gallery.
Oh, no, that's not the draw. We want to see some of the dirt.
Yeah. So, I mean, because I wanted to hang a lot more work than would have been up had I been just working there. But
that's fair.
It'll be a good mix of old portfolios to look through and new work on the walls and a pile of stuff that I'm still working on. So.
Do you have a plan in place to sell stuff to people as they walk through?
Yeah, I was hoping to get rid of some of the older stuff.
Cool,
to be honest. Yeah. So.
You got like price tags ready, or just like in your head?
I have an idea. I have a plan in my head. I haven't written it down or executed it yet, but yeah, there'll be some deals in the studio.
Cool. So when everybody shows up to his studio and falls in love with all of his beautiful work, you can take it home with you.
Yeah.
Very good. I have yapped at you for almost an entire hour. Christopher Moss, what do you want to talk about?
Oh my goodness. I think we covered everything. What do I want to talk about? Yeah.
We nailed it. Come see all the shows. Come hang out in your studio.
I think so, yeah. I'm looking forward to this, to the art crawl, and to the exhibition that's concurrent with it. I'm looking forward to, if you happen to be an artist in the neighborhood, come say hi. We want to know who you are. Always interested in meeting more artists and trying to figure out how to expand this idea. It'd be cool. Oh, there's so many interesting ways that it could go. I spend a lot of time gaming things out in my head, and then none of that actually happens. So I'm trying to teach myself to, you don't need to do all that extra thinking work.
You gotta reel it in because you're stressing yourself out?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, next year it can be the 13 instead of the 11.
Yeah, 13 or 22 or who knows.
All right.
We'll see.
Eastside 47.
The Eastside 40.
Coming 2027.
That'd be amazing if there were like 50 artists in the neighborhood. I'm not sure that we have that many, but we might. There's always people, moving into the neighborhood and leaving, so.
All right, who should I talk to next?
That's a good question.
Lisa Watson sent me to you. So you can blame her for having to put up with me today.
Oh. It's been perfectly lovely. I don't know. You're talking to John? And no. Probably already covered that.
I haven't done John or Emily.
Okay. That would be an interesting one. That would be that could be a 2-part.
Yes. Well, I think that's going to evolve. So the next 2 rounds are location-based. But Art Southeast, I'm new on the board this year, and I was voluntold I'm events chair. So okay. I look forward to seeing how the Art Attack fundraiser in the fall comes together, because that's going to be a fun baby to tweak like a little bit. I mean, last year was so amazing. Did you get to go? Yeah. We were there. Yep. Yes. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time, and had good conversations with people. I always expect that when I go to something like that I'm going to be way more outgoing than I am, but me too.
And then it happens, and I'm like, well, at least I knew some people. At least I had somebody to talk to.
I hid on the side of the wall with Carmen Aguirre for most of it. My husband recognized Phil Musin, who I'd just done a chat with, and he dorkily runs up and was like, "Will you take our picture?" He's not a photographer. He's just like a nice guy.
But of course he did.
Of course he did.
Because he's like, yeah, sure.
Just the nicest dude on the planet. But yep.
What about she was just in a show at Art Southeast, the one before this one, and I can't remember what her last name is. Was the last show at Art Southeast was the one about rooms and home and that sort of thing, and hers was the one where you walk right in and it had like pink wallpaper.
That was cool.
What is her name?
I don't remember.
I can totally forget.
I'm really bad with names.
Yeah, I am too.
Like faces I'll get all day. Names.
Yeah. So she's got a studio on De Lesseps. And
is that how you say that word? De Lesseps?
Is that not how you say that?
Apparently I've been saying it wrong. Okay, sorry, continue. My apologies.
My partner Corey also doesn't know how to say that word. Because she's like, is it Delseps? De Lesseps.
Have I just never heard it said out loud?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I just read it and in my head I go, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. That word, that street like ends in a neighborhood. Like it doesn't, the whole street doesn't look like a neighborhood until it does at the very end of it. And there's I guess it had been used as a salon for a minute. I think it was an art gallery maybe also. But she's got a studio out there, but she's also got the newest artist-run art gallery in Savannah, all the way over there too. They had an opening for First Friday, and I find it really difficult to go from.
You have to pick.
Yeah, you have to choose what neighborhood you're going to go to.
Yeah.
And
that's a good problem to have. It's a great problem to have. But like,
it's finally a problem that we have in Savannah. That's one of the that's what I'm excited about in the future. Is like that it's growing in a way that like you've got too many art events to do in one night, and you can't actually even make it to all of them.
No, you can't. I mean, I hit Art Southeast and Cute Tomatoes, but I didn't make it to 2424 for Tamara Garvey on Friday. I didn't
make it to her opening.
Well, she's got the art talk.
I was out of town.
She's got a talk this weekend on Sunday. She's doing her talk.
Oh, cool! I should. I want to go listen to that because I like the show. It was a good show.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the coolest things I've seen recently. I've known her for years. She's delightful.
Yeah.
That one will be super exciting. And when you go, you got to put the headphones on and listen to all of the...
Oh, I didn't do that. But...
Mm-hmm. It's written down too. You can flip through
there's a lot of parts to that show. But yeah, it's a good one.
So I will knock on doors and find a lady named Sharon in a not beauty salon at the end of Blah Street.
De Lesseps. I swear, people who don't know how to say that name, it's yeah. Anyway,
I bet it's still. It's got to be De Lesseps. You've got to be right. I just.
Sharon Norwood.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay. Sharon Norwood. I will email you. See if you're interested in talking to me.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't spend all of her time in Savannah. I think she's got. She's like Canadian too. But,
cool.
She was. I don't know if she's still on the board at Art Southeast or if they have like some rotating positions there.
It's like 3-year terms.
Yeah. Okay. So she might not be anymore. She was a little bit ago, I think. But anyway.
Maybe that's whose spot I took. Maybe she rotated out.
Yeah. It's possible.
All right. Final thoughts.
If you're an artist, get out of your studio and go meet other artists. It's vital to what you're doing in the studio to go do that. It's like, it's silly to pretend that like you have to do this whole art thing by yourself. You can't do it all by yourself. You absolutely need other people's help doing it. So I don't know exactly who needs to hear that. It doesn't seem like anybody. I feel like I'm the last person to discover that, but I'm sure I'm not.
No, you can't be.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing your work. We'll come see your studio. We'll come see the show at Ology.
Yay.
Yay. You've had
It's exciting.
Just an amazing run this spring.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Take a break after it.
Yeah, I want to be, I always want to be in the studio, and it's been several months since I worked really hard all summer to finish the work for the Thompson show. And it was, yeah, I don't know. There's ideas in there that are just cooking rather than actually like, but I'm the kind of artist that I have to I have to think and make at the same time.
Beautiful. It's
Yeah.
the best way to go. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much to Chris Moss for sitting down with me to chat and teaching me about paint. I can't wait to meet him again in his studio in a couple weeks. Next week, I'll have a dual interview with husband and wife duo Jamie and Lino Acevedo. Paper Dolls by Jamie and Lino is the first show of 2026 at Location Gallery. Jamie is a photographer and Lino is a mixed media artist. Here's directly from the press release. Paper Dolls explores the suspension of time and space to collect the wisdom not only of the women in our family tree, but women of the world. Both convey an urging about how to benefit the next generation by the ones before it. Now, Peter Roberts' Location Gallery is focusing on the Art Family Values campaign for 2026. So the majority of shows there at Location Gallery for 2026 are duets or groups of artists who are related. Married couples, sisters, brothers, parent and child, cousin, in-laws, etc. This is the first of that series. And as always, gallery profits are donated. This show, in particular, benefits the Cure Childhood Cancer Savannah. The show Paper Dolls opens on Friday, February 27th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. See you next week.